Morning, Narelle.
Morning.
How you doing?
Yeah, okay. How are you?
Not too bad. Alrighty, I see nobody else is there. I'll quickly go get a cup of coffee and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Robin?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Very good. Another beautiful day.
Oh,
in a
isn't it
lovely
wonderful?
Waikato.
Just lovely. Just lovely.
Isn't it?
Just been wandering down Crosby Road looking at new positioning. Exciting. Yay. Thank you.
Excellent.
It's quite a bit further up the road than I thought it was going to be, actually. But it's good.
Good morning.
G'day, Johnny.
I've just got new headphones, so this is their debut.
Woohoo.
So
Hey.
if I stuff things up, I can move off the excuse of being the new guy to now having new headphones.
Thank you for coming along and being the new guy. I've been playing that card for 6 years.
I must admit the sound quality is great in these things.
Well, thanks very much.
Yeah, hey, hang on, steady on. So I've woken up feeling $1 million today. Still got a bit of a slight sort of nasally head cold, but other than that, it's I feel pretty good.
Woke up feeling $1 million. What did she leave her wallet by the bed?
No, Caroline and I are isolating in separate homes at the moment, so that so that I don't give her the dreaded flu.
And my darling daughter Penny just rang yesterday. She's got it. So
Oh,
she's got
mate, yeah.
Poor things. I've already taken a big love package of chocolate and toilet paper, and you know.
Yeah. You'd be surprised just how much those little things count, though, eh? Like Caroline dropped off a package to me at the start of last week, and it's like even last night when I was feeling a little bit blue, I was like, oh, there's a little bar of chocolate in the fridge. I might go and help myself to that. And of course, you know, being a strong advocate for chocolate, I know that the endorphins that are produced are
They're medicinal qualities.
Exactly. Hey, Bunty, on that endorphins thing, I must admit, I've tried to I'm trying to follow your thing that you talked about the rewards for doing things. Yeah,
it's really interesting.
Mate, I'm finding it actually quite good. Like on Sunday, I washed my ute, and I told myself if I wash my ute, then I'm allowed to have an hour of TV. And is that how it works, or
it's kind of the other way? Because what they're saying, if you want to get a what's it called? Not endorphins, dopamine hit.
Oh yeah,
You,
yeah,
you what they
Dopamine,
found
that's
that was
right,
really
yeah.
interesting with kids.
Yeah.
They found that kids who like enjoyed painting.
Yeah.
They said that's really, really great. What we're going to do is we're going to actually give you a reward for your paintings, and they eventually got sick of painting and just wanted the rewards. So
Oh, okay.
they used that example of it being an extrinsic motivation versus an intrinsic motivation.
Yep.
So it sort of says doing the mahi, doing the hard work, and that sort of stuff gives you a dopamine raise.
Yep.
A reward will give you a hit, but
Yes.
it'll drop down lower than the baseline.
Oh,
And so if you keep your motivation intrinsic and you start to enjoy the work and you start to enjoy, the feelings you get from doing it, then that
Yep.
works that way. So
right. Okay.
yeah, intrinsic motivation rather than extrinsic motivation. So
Oh, okay. Right. Well, I got it slightly wrong, but I do
That's
enjoy
good.
I do enjoy washing the washing my truck. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Have I got
Yeah.
a deal for you, mate?
Yeah. Have you? Okay.
Sorry.
Really? Yeah.
I actually personally think you've got a mission to actually mention your ute in every single meeting you're in.
I love it.
Morning, Angela.
All right, everybody. Good morning, and
Hey, you
thank
are.
you for that fascinating insight into both your knowledge base, Bunty, and your passion for utes, Mr. Donovan, Councillor Donovan.
Yeah.
It's just past 9:30, and we have a quorum, so let's get underway. So I open the meeting of the Traffic Speed Limit and Road Closure Hearing Panel on the 15th of March. I've got apologies from Councillor Gallagher that I'll move. Can I have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Angela. Thank you. All those in favour? Sorry, are there any other apologies, team? I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry, Chair. You and I will be dashing in and out. I've got a couple of council appointments, one at 10 and one at 12, but I'll be back as quick as I can. So hopefully that doesn't affect your quorum.
Right. So an apology from Mark for dashing.
Dashing. Dashing.
Any other apologies? No. On that basis, I'll put the apologies. All those in favour say aye. Those against, the ayes have it. The agenda is as per the run sheet. So I will move the agenda, seconded by Councillor Mark Donovan. All those in favour say aye. Thank you. Those against, the ayes have it. Now, item 4, confirmation of the traffic speed limit road closure hearings, open minutes of the 9th of December. I've read those minutes and I'm happy to move. Councillor Martin has seconded them. Any questions? No, I'll put them. All those in favour say aye. Those against, the ayes have it. Thank you. We are now on to agenda item 5, parking restrictions and traffic bylaw changes. Robin Denton, we're in your hands.
Good morning, councillors. I can't actually see who's on the call, but I will just give a heads up that Gordon Naidu has started as the City Transport Unit Director this week, and he's hoping to join the meeting. So at some stage you might see him pop up. I just thought it was a good opportunity to see the great work that this particular group do, and an opportunity to meet some of the councillors. So,
right. Well, he hasn't popped up yet. I'll let you know if he
excellent. Okay, thank you. So getting on to today's first item. So this is our standard sort of report for working through changes to parking restrictions and any of the registers in the bylaw. I'm happy to work my way through the report first off with parking restrictions. So starting on page 21, clause 14. So as per usual, we've gone out and consulted with those directly affected. If everyone's in agreement, then those proposed changes are listed in the report. Where there's been some discussion, we include that in the report. So Abbotsford Street was the first one where we had a bit of feedback. So on page 22, you will see a pretty picture there of the cul-de-sac hammerhead shape. that we have next to Victoria Street, which was designed as a location that vehicles could turn around in. Many years ago, and I'm old enough to remember, the street used to actually go through and connect to Ward Street, which is why we ended up with this funny shape when that was closed off. And that was done in conjunction with developing all of those apartments there. So the proposal was to introduce the no stopping as shown. We had feedback from one resident who objected to it because they were concerned about the loss of probably about 3 car parks, meaning that they potentially would be more likely to have to find an alternate car park when they got home and having to walk. So at this stage, staff are recommending that the parking restrictions are installed to enable that turnaround to be used. So I'm happy to pause there if that works for you, Councillor Ewan, and see if there's any questions.
Yes, look, Robin, I thank you for that update. I wonder, rather than you taking us through each of these, it is assumed we will have read the report.
Okay.
And I wonder if it's not more productive, and I'll be led by my colleagues, if in fact we open it for questions.
That's fine.
On the items that elected members would like to speak to under item 5. And you answer those specific questions rather than litigate each one. Colleagues, can I have an indication if you think that's a reasonable approach?
Yep.
It looks positive. So that's really good, because otherwise we could be here for quite a while. And although I love the sound of your voice, Robin,
thank you.
it's a sunny day outside and life continues. And nobody's firing missiles at us currently. So I have a question from Councillor Robb, followed by a question from Councillor Bunting.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Robin. My questions, I've got two sets of questions on 2 areas. The first one is on the, where am I going to? Crosby Road, Darjan Drive, and Gordonton Road, which are in 3 different places there. And I'm just wondering whether we are dealing with the issues that I've found as a councillor with the residents there. The first one in Crosby Road is I think the relocation of the bus stop is part of the Crosby Road redevelopment, which I think is on hold at the moment. Is that...
So this is it was a separate issue originally raised by a member of the public through Councillor Mark Bunting. When it was raised, we said, actually, we're looking at that whole route. Let's incorporate that into that piece of work. Given that piece of work is on hold and the issue hasn't gone away, we are now proceeding with just that one issue, which was that bus stop location. So this is not to be taken as an indication that we're proceeding with anything else on Crosby Road independently. It is very much just about that issue.
I wasn't sort of thinking along those lines, Robin. I was just wondering that it is consistent with an outcome which will help. I know the bus can't stop parallel, can it, to the road? It has to stick out somehow when it stops, and that results in cars banking up behind it. And as I understand it, that was one of the outcomes, or one of the concerns that residents had when we had, and I think Mark attended that Sunday afternoon meeting with the residents in the park at the stadium there.
Sunday, bloody Sunday, I think we call that one, Rob.
Oh, it was okay for me. It might have been for you. So that's fine. And now Darjan and Gordonton Road. I've had some visits there with some of the residents about the turning. Is it from Darjan into Gordonton Road and turning off? Is this the solution, or is this a temporary?
No, this is
a temporary fix.
No, this is the proposed long-term solution for this site. So this has been reported alongside the Gordonton Tokitaha.
Can you just give me the page reference again? I'm on a
I'm on page 16 16 and 17.
Great, thank you.
There's also
If you-
some photographs too
Yes.
further on.
If you'd like
40 is what we're
the
looking for.
picture, page 40, yes,
page
has the pretty
40.
picture. Yeah. So this is the permanent solution, Councillor Rob. So we've reported to the Infrastructure Ops Committee on both this intersection and also the Puketaha intersection. So this design is one that we can accommodate within the existing road corridor without doing land take, addresses the safety issues that have been raised there, and is basically where we're looking to be all go, except at the moment we're just waiting on well to get to site to remove some power poles. We need to underground some power poles. So we've ended up with a delay due to that, and they've obviously had delays due to both COVID, and then the likes of Dovey comes through and keeps them busy dealing with faults in the network. So so we've had some delays with the project, but yes, this is the final solution.
And will that there was a lady, and I can't remember her name now, there was a lady who lives in the street who was working with Justin and another resident and others in the street. This will satisfy her concerns?
Yes, this gives them safe access into and out of that intersection. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. And my last question is on Woodridge Drive, which is page 39. And that's a street that I use frequently. And it is overparked at the moment because of the Linda Jones Retirement Village impact of workers and contractors who park there every day. I just wonder if the yellow lines on the right-hand side of the photograph could be extended back to that driveway, because cars park in there too. And I presume the problem arises for the buses, as well as those in cars who are trying to get out of Woodridge Drive and also pull into Woodridge Drive from River Road with a right or left-hand turn. I just wonder if we could extend the yellow lines down to that driveway.
So on both sides, Councillor Rob,
Yeah,
outside
well,
number one and number two?
At least on the right-hand side, coming out of Woodridge onto River Road. There's a slight rise in the road, so you're actually up looking into River Road, and it's very hard to see the cars coming the other way. And I wonder if the yellow line or the yellow lines might only be temporary, that once the development's complete, you might find that that parking that's required there may not be necessary. So it might be one to put on watch once the Linda Jones development has been completed.
Right. So what I would say is at this stage, what I'd like to do is proceed as consulted. We can certainly go back out and talk to number one and number two and have a look at that site with that additional, and we can bring that to the next committee meeting.
Sounds
so
good.
yes, I'll make a note on that.
All right. Thanks, Robin. Thanks, Chair. That's my question.
No problem. Thanks, Councillor Rob. Councillor Mark Bunting.
Thank you, Chair Ewan. Just a couple of quick questions, Robin. If I may start with a compliment, I push bike down Brooklyn Road today, just loved the new cycle space. Really great. So thank you. Is that, and the wheel didn't stop, it was quite cool. Is that pretty much all there is going to be, just that line, or are you planning on greening it, or? So
following hopefully today's approval, we will then have a legal cycle lane, and we will then proceed to put in some cycle symbols and some more greening to support that. Okay. We just really wanted to make sure that we got approval through this committee before we did any more work there.
Yeah, well, no, look, as a cyclist, it was just great. Just great. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback.
No worries. Hey, question, just wondering on Rob's question around, Councillor Rob's question around Darjon. I'm just wondering if he might be referring to Stoneleigh, the next one along, because Rob, that was we had feedback from where they were cutting through from Wairere, and that actually is one street back from Woodridge.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yes, I think you're spot on, Councillor. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, now you remind me, I think you are right. It was Stoneleigh that concerns were raised about. So I guess in the bigger plan, when we looked at that whole of Gordonton route, this roundabout is a key one.
Yeah.
Because it actually does then enable us to consider making Stoneleigh left in, left out, and also Greenhill left in, out, left out. So that would then still enable people to use a roundabout. It becomes an very extended dog bone sort of effect, I guess, for people to access that area. It will provide a safer access into that general community. So yes, apologies, Councillor Rob, I did get the wrong intersection.
Yeah, and look, I've realised now, thanks Mark, I realise now that I've probably, because the streets are only about 100 metres apart, I think.
That's right, they're very close.
But the problem in Stoneleigh then is that it's used as a rat run, isn't it?
That's right.
From Waiwere Drive across to Gordonton. Will the left in, left out, that will stop that rat run, will it?
Yeah.
Yes, it would certainly reduce that likelihood. It's also, that's that longer term scheme, I guess, for Gordonton Road and how that works. And we've also got to keep in mind the longer term opening up of that R2 area and the continuation of the road network, I guess, behind which longer term will probably pick up more traffic and allow Gordonton Road to actually pop down in the hierarchy as well.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, why the Darjong intersection, we've tried to keep that within the existing footprint. We haven't gone to doing land purchase in a big project there, because longer term we see Gordonton Road, as I said, stepping down in the hierarchy as that R2 section provides the key link through.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
No worries. And my second question is actually on that area. I'm looking forward to that bit of work happening. But so because there's no land acquisition, that's why we can bring it to this meeting now, because I was wondering the Puketaha intersection isn't at this meeting. Is that because we're still working on land acquisition and the likes?
Yes, we're just finalising. We've got a little bit of land on the corner that we're trying to finalise, and we're reasonably comfortable that we can make the project work if we need to.
Yep.
But we can get a better outcome if we can get that land taken, then we'll get all of that tidied up in one hit as well.
Cool, thank you. And look, just reaffirming what Rob was saying about Crosby Road, that moving that bus stop, I can promise you that's going to be a popular move in those parts with those residents. It's a good one. So thank you. Really appreciate it, and right behind what you're doing here.
Thank you.
Thanks for those questions. Colleagues, do we have any other questions of Robin on items under item 5? Okay, I'm not seeing anything. I will put the recommendations on page 15, seconded by Councillor Donovan, thank you, and open it up for debate. Robin, is there anything you wanted to add before I put it up for debate?
No, thank you.
And colleagues, there's no amendments or foreshadowed amendments or no? Cool. All right. Well, I'll move the recommendation as we see it on page 15, seconded by Councillor Donovan. All of those in favour say aye. Those against? The ayes have it. I'll leave you to call it, Narelle. Well, I've just called it. So the ayes have it. That's it.
Yeah.
Narelle, it's unanimous.
All right. So item 6, Robin, we're back with you.
Thank you, Councillor Ewan. I'll take the item as read. I guess just to preface the report, we're working with Waka Kotahi on the development of a national speed limits register. So this is basically, as it's titled, pulling together a register that holds nationally all of the speed limits across the country. This is work that's being done in accordance with the last update to the speed limits rule. but is being done in preparation for us moving to having autonomous vehicles and making sure that we've got good quality data and one central point such that the vehicles can get that and give the drivers the appropriate warnings and give them the appropriate aids. So as part of that process, they've obviously been going through and doing a quality audit, and we've found a couple of things that were missed or slightly incorrect in our register. And all of this is doing is making sure that register is correct. It's not making any changes on the ground. So as far as the motorists concerned, no changes to signs or any limits out on the network. It's just making sure that we've got everything technically specified correctly. And I'm happy to take questions. Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't hear you, Councillor Ewan. Is that just me or others?
No, that was because the
Okay.
operator Ewan's a bit of a muppet, and
Okay.
he's had one coffee.
I didn't
and
say
he
that.
he needs 2 coffees before he's functioning well. Scary thing is, I used to fly aeroplanes. Okay, Councillor Maxine, it's all yours. Followed by Councillor
I don't really
Gallagher.
have a question. It's really just when you're ready to move it, I'm happy to either move or second. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Gallagher.
Yeah, sorry, it's just a coat hanger to ask a question, not directly related to this, if you allow me. In terms of the rollout of our new speed limits that we've approved in principle, Robin, can you just remind us again what that timeline is? And obviously we'll be coming back to this committee, as I understand it.
So the committee approved late last year a series of speed limit changes in
Right.
and now the road's going to escape from me and around the swimming pool area,
Yeah.
Garnet Ave. So that work's continuing, and we're getting the physical works. We're working through the consultation and that for that. We have more speed limit changes that we are foreshadowing at the moment, associated with works both in the Claudelands, Heafy, Brookland area. And we're also about to go out for consultation in the Heafy Terrace shops. So they're 30k speed limits. So we've got those coming through, and we're also having a look at some of our rural areas, such as out past the zoo, where we share the road boundary with Waikato District Council. And we're looking to get some lower speed limits in around there. So we'll have another tranche of speed limit changes probably coming through to, if not the May meeting of this committee, it's, I think the next one's July off the top of my head. So we're continuing with our rollout.
Sure.
This year's safer speed areas, so those permanent 40s, we've done
Yeah.
this year's lot.
Yeah.
The speed management plan's out for consultation at the moment, and that signals to the community where we're looking to go for the next couple of years. And we'll be then having to kick into that process once we have a new council on board in next calendar year.
This council and a new council, we just in generally, it's a 2-year journey. Would that be a fair summary of, in terms of we've established some higher level proposals in terms of the 60, 40, 50, 80, if I'm looking at a kind of, for the reset, speed reset, appropriate 2-year journey.
It's more than 2 years, sorry, Councillor.
Sorry, yeah. What would we be looking
at? So the speed management plan has set out what we intend to do for the next 2 years, but that doesn't get us to the end of the journey. We've still got more work to do after that. So the current funding allows us to do 1, perhaps 2 safer speed areas each year, and we've still got quite a few to do.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, it's the proposal, but parallel with the appropriate budget provision for the appropriate works.
Correct.
At the group level. And then what you're saying in summary, that journey will be longer than 2 years.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. No, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Maxine, you're back for a second bite. You were inspired by Councillor Martin.
Indeed I was, because it reminded me of another project that we have currently running in conjunction with Waka Kokotahi, and that's outside the school zone in Hamilton West, and wonder if there's the opportunity for you to provide some feedback, or is there any anything to report on that and on rolling that out to further schools into the future?
So the results, they've been out gathering data. I haven't seen the results of that yet. Unfortunately, the young lady who was running that program for us left at the end of February. So she's moved to another organisation. So yes, we're just in the recruitment catch-up type phase. But that was part of a national project, and I think the results they're hoping to pull that all together in around the June, July sort of period. So we will be feeding into that process and then expect it to come out through that wider work that's been done, because I'll be looking at the results nationally. The ability to do more than that at this stage is still dependent on the speed limits rule. We understand that work has progressed, and that they're hopeful of getting that through to Minister and Cabinet, etc., in the next couple of months. Behind the scenes, we've been working with Waka Kotahi around the development of the guidelines. So there's basically the rule, and then there's a speed management guideline. That speed management guideline's being completely refreshed, noting where the rule's going. So we've been working with Waka Kotahi on that, and speed limits around schools was quite an interesting discussion on Friday, actually, as part of a series of workshops that they've been doing. So at this stage, with the crystal ball that I have, and cannot guarantee what ministers and cabinet do as far as timing, but my aim is to continue to focus on getting the physical works in around schools such that we can finish that program, and probably I think it's about 2 years work to get that done, and then look in the next LTP period to have a really good comms campaign, education campaign, and move all schools in Hamilton to 30, either via a variable or a permanent speed limit in one hit, so that we don't have dribs and drabs coming through, because I think that there would be some real great synergies to be able to have a consistent message saying Hamilton, all schools are 30. But we're looking at about 2 years to get there. And hopefully the rule is all signed and in place, enabling us to do that as well.
Oh, that's
All right,
awesome.
thank
And will
you.
that also line up, sorry, Chair, with
That's all
the School Link project that's being
Yes.
under development? So
Yes,
they'll
yeah.
happen at around about the same time. So
That's the aim, is to utilise, and I guess in our speed management plan we've tried to signal the fact that Eastern Pathways will see speed limit changes, and they will be in sections as, you know, the appropriate sections of work get delivered, because I think that's going to be one of the big challenges with that Eastern Pathways is not doing the whole thing in one go. We need to pick some really good locations that make logical change and work through them. So,
and then in terms of that, the other speed limits, the safer neighbourhood speed limits will be timed for that also.
Yes, and we've got a lot of those adjacent neighbourhoods who have already got the 40k in place with them. So yes.
Thank you, Robin. Thanks, Chair.
All right, so Councillor Maxine has moved item 6. Can I have a seconder? Look, Martin looks like he wants. Actually, Martin, put some more suntan lotion on. You're at the beach. It's been 15 minutes. Turn over. You need to roast the other side.
Yeah, I know. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for your on message within the framework of this meeting advice within our standing orders. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So seconded by Councillor Martin. Questions? Sorry, no questions. Debate.
I have no debate. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks for the piece of work, Robin.
All right.
So I was just going to say, fantastic report, presentation to Robin. It's good quality information coming through, and I'm already starting. I live in one of the areas that is close to where they have put in the new speed zones for the 30Ks, and I'm already I live in an adjacent area, and I'm already seeing a change in driver behaviour just around where I live. So I think you know, there's some really positive stuff starting to happen. So well done. It's good. Keep up the good work.
And I assume not all of them are driving utes, Councillor Donovan. Councillor Martin?
Yes, I
Waving
just
at
want
me.
to totally endorse the very wise words of our Deputy Chair Donovan. And look, you know, as you know, with this, as Dave Mack would say, you know, with so many thousand streets engineers, but it's really important that Robin and the team get feedback from us, which Mark's just done, that you're doing a fantastic job. And basically this is a, dare I say it, a historic journey where the form and shape of urban environments change, and safety and things. And Mark said it all better than I can actually in this case, but well done.
All right, I have no other questions. I'll now put the motion moved by Councillor Maxine and seconded by Councillor Gallagher. All those in favour say aye. Those against?
The
Narelle?
motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. That brings an end to item 6. I do see, Robin, that Mr. Nadu did arrive, although he's now gone off camera. I don't know if you wanted to quickly introduce him and